In the second hour, we'll be hosting the Secretary General of the South Sudan Bar Association to talk. I will be focusing on the election law. The country is expecting to hold election in December 2026. Stay tuned for these stories and more today edition of the Sundown Show. Now we start our first hour with the World Radio Day, as South Sudan joining the rest of the world commemorating the World Radio Day, marking every 13th of February. We're reflecting on the power of the radio in informing, educating, and uniting our communities. Proclaimed by the UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations, the World Radio Day is the moment to celebrate a medium that remains the most trusted, accessible source of information for the million of the people, including here in South Sudan. In 2026, we open a new chapter. Artificial intelligence, AI, is now as a part of the media landscape, tools for innovation, helping radio to reach every corner of the country with the greater inclusion and improving service. But while the technology can enhance our work, it's the people who build the trust, and it's the human voice behind the microphone that connect communities, tell their stories, and keep the conversation alive. This World Radio Day celebrated radio AI community voices in service of the peace inclusion. We impress on the new tools, but the heart of the power of the human voice. In this first hour of the Sundown, we'll discuss the significance of the World Radio Day and the future of the radio journalism. We now join in the studio by the two experienced journalists, broadcasters who have walked on the front line of storytelling. With me here, John Wulu, station manager of the Top FM radio and the Secretary General of the National Editors Forum. Also, Alfred Poverty, Executive Director of National Press Club. You are welcome on our radio show as we're celebrating the International Radio Day.
Thank you so much, my brother, and happy World Radio Day to our journalists working for iRadio and other South Sudanese journalists working for broadcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Bavat Alfred, and my pleasure to be on iRadio. And happy World Radio Day for every radio person and a listener listening to radio all over the country.
Okay. People are celebrating the World Radio Day, and we're talking about also AI. Let me start by asking these questions as we are marking the World Radio Day on the 13th. As it will be tomorrow. What does the day mean to you as a journalist or broadcaster?
Thank you so much. My name is John Uludeng. I work as a broadcast journalist since 2007 up to now. I work for Radio Rombek. Then I work for Top FM. Then I work in SSBC. Our theme for this year is about radio and AI for community voices. We can start from analog to digital age that we have today. So before we interpret the image of AI, I want to give you a clue on how radio is being in South Sudan. It is very important for our listeners and our journalists to know when did radio in Benin in South Sudan. In South Sudan, during the Turkey government, there was a radio that operated in Giada in 1961. The radio operated for 3 months and then disappeared with Turkey government. Because the radio did not reach to other part of South Sudan, and the radio was operating in English language, which our people did not understand. In 1974, that was when Radio Juba was established. That was the only radio in South Sudan that was established in 1974. Radio Juba worked until 17 August. It was closed down due to some protests by some students of University of Juba. That is how radio invaded in South Sudan. We were having one radio in South Sudan until the SPLA-SPLM broke out in 1983. They were in civil war until the CPA was signed in 2005. When CPA was signed, Radio Juba come back. We got Radio Rumbek, we got Radio Wow, we got Bantu Radio that worked in medium wave, and then iRadio came in 2009. That was when iRadio was established. So this is how radio in Benin, South Sudan. Now with the presence of for our people to get access, we have more than 50 FM in the country. We have more than 50 FM in the country, and maybe next year or 2 years later, we will be having medium wave and short wave. So this is what I want to give to our people, for them to know how did radio in Benin, South Sudan. Now, the other thing is why radio is important now in our situation of South Sudan. In our situation of South Sudan now, radio is the easy access for information. With our current situation, it is very difficult for you to watch TV in your house. But with radio, you can have access to radio through your phone, in the car, anywhere you can listen to the radio. Now, we give thanks to our media partners that support us. Without their support, our FM that are operating now in the rural areas cannot reach. So through their support, that's why we have some community radio that are operating now in areas where never see the radio. But still we have some areas that has not even been covered by our covering in South Sudan. So our FM, they are not reaching in the state and other counties. So this is something we should look into it also when we are celebrating a World Radio Day like this. This is something we should inform our government and our partners so that we will be having a wide coverage. Every citizen in South Sudan must have access to radio.
Thank you. Let me also come to you, Alfred. Why do you think the radios remain important in South Sudan, even with this raising of the social media and digital platforms? Why do you think it is very important for us as a South Sudanese?
Thank you so much for that question. Radio have a very important role that it has played. I could just start from my experience all the way from 2009 in journalism. I also worked in radio all along, and I managed radio. And then during the elections, it helped a massive number of voters to understand the procedures during the voting process for the secession of the Republic of South Sudan from Sudan. So that was one aspect. Secondly, if there's any outbreak of any disease or pandemic within the country, radio is faster to reach the people compared to newspapers, because like you can have newspapers, but you need to buy. But for a radio, as my colleague mentioned, you can access anywhere. Use your phone, open it. Now we have these chargeable speakers where you carry on. You can open anywhere you wish. You don't need to pay anyone any money in order to have access to radio. And that is how easy it is. And similarly, if there's a situation happening somewhere, now that we are thinking of civic education can reach the people more easier, because we are pushing for we are looking forward to the election process. Now for the election success, it requires a civic education, and radio is faster and widely reached within the country. And of course the other thing is, and aizol bonus berutan bito garib ya nama dururi fi rutan say sonun bonus gale alizade goflu asan le gon sub english bara لكن في إذا بونس بإذا بأي روتانا تبارو وزول ما بعرف إنجليزي بقدر فاهم بروتانا لو بقدر في community ألو في فوق so دي حاجة مهمة تا إذا كله في جنوب السودان وصار سديد أصلا مجتمع جنوب السودان بيلقوا معلومة كامل ما ناقص وكمان ما إنت ما بقدر تسترك زي ريتا تسترك زي ريتا في الشارع so دي أو كمان civic education arsan ita bligo muruma zea sare lo fi ayan fi tijatan ita baro galai ita kan giro maldak mana fi mushkila fi maldak wo be mana kabar rebe ja sere min isa min ale kan ita gagara min sere da
let me go back to you, John. How the radio contribute to peace, dialogue and community cohesion in our country?
Actually, radio has contributed so much in South Sudan. It started during the time of SPLM. There was a radio operating in Ethiopia. At 3 p.m., all the South Sudanese will gather in a house that has a radio, and they will listen to SPLA. And then in 1997 or 1998 downward up to 2005, we were having another channel that South Sudanese used to listen so much in Nairobi, that is Piba Radio, that brings church program. Until Sudan Radio Service came in, and I think Sudan Radio Service is like the one we use now as iRadio. So those who work in Halqa Jadida, for iRadio, for Sudan Radio Service, people enjoy it. During the census, without presence of the radio, our people does not know what is called census. We go there as the community, you cannot count them. If you come and say how many of you in this house, you are in trouble. So radio help us to disseminate information for South Sudanese to know that the reason for census is it can help government to know the population in that area, and it will help the government to divide the seat in the parliament or anywhere. After that, we go for general election in 2010. Radio play a very big role until those who were contesting by then, like our president, has won the election. Now in the referendum also, it helps South Sudanese to educate themselves. Why did they need a referendum? Why did they need the country? They educate themselves, they vote 98%. It's only 2 votes which are not there to be 100%. So radio has contributed. Now coming to the peace dialogue, like revitalized peace agreement, radio has played a very big role. iRadio transmitted from Addis Ababa to South Sudan, and people can listen what is said in Addis Ababa today. So radio contributed, and it helped us also in part like outbreak of cholera, Ebola, or any disease. COVID-19. During COVID-19,
play a big role during
yes,
the
radio
played a
very big role until those in the rural areas start to wear face masks. They don't know what is the meaning of face mask. So radio is very important tool. And there is a worry now in the world, coming to the digital age. People said radio is going to be changed by digital. I'm telling you, radio will not go away. Radio will still exist. What you see on social media and what you listen on radio, they are different.
Okay.
As we are speaking now, how many people who are celebrating World Radio Day on social media? But if you listen to iRadio today, you will get good information about the radio.
The number of the people also celebrating. Okay, let me pick it from here and drop it back to Alfred. Let's talk about the challenges. Is like, what are the biggest challenges that the radio stations and the broadcasters are facing now in South Sudan? So, like, what do you think those challenges are?
Yeah, there are numerous challenges that radio and the personalities behind the radio face as they do their work. For a radio to function like this, for people to access information, one thing is power, sustainable power.
For the radio station.
For the radio station to continue functioning is one big challenge. So if the radio management is not very keen enough in looking into that, this radio will go off. And that is looking at resources that can sustain the radio to be on throughout. That is one. Secondly, it is also related also to technical know-how. Now we are transitioning also, like I can relate to AI now. We are transitioning from analog to digital. And that is now we see AI. Previously, I used to go to the radio station with a paper that I write using a pen and a paper. I edit the stories using a hand. 3 papers before I go to the final copy. And then also previously, we had the cassette recorders that were played. So now digital is okay. The most challenge also we noticed that is sometimes some radio stations cannot cover the whole country, but their content is very important. So coverage is another thing. And the issue of coverage is related also to the resources they have in order to have a broader transmitters or receivers in various locations in the country. Similarly, resources versus the current manpower. Limited resources have actually reduced also the number of people working in the radio. Because the payment in the radio, your voice could be sounding very well on the radio. You're rich with outreach and the number of people you talk to. But in the pocket, you are dry. May his soul rest in peace, our colleague Emmanuel Akile. Because sometimes I can relate that to fellow Emmanuel Akile and the colleague in Yambio, Mr. Matthias Samuel. So these are all radio personalities. But sometimes the resources you get from the media are meager that you cannot manage your own family. Because outside there, the way we are speaking with John now, you look bigger. If you can go to the radio, that means you are well off. You are working for iRadio, that means you are well paid. But the reality is different. But outside there, the challenge is you will not manage all the expectation of the people. The other thing is related to also language. I'm speaking in English now. So that is like I'm targeting those who are only speaking English. The other locations, I remember there was a radio station in Namlao, Malalakon. There's a radio station called Namlao FM. And then there's one called Wirbai. That one entirely broadcasts information in Dinka, Tongmonjang, strictly Tongmonjang. There's no other, and that is like the target is the people. But the coverage is also limited. So that is a big challenge, that the coverage, the technical know-how is also another thing. So radio doesn't need assumption. You cannot assume that you know something, or you can say something that you just assume without verification. You need to be
accurate.
Very accurate in the way. And also sticking to the code of conduct and ethics for journalism. Because every radio station have a code of conduct to abide by.
Okay, John, let me also ask you the same question, but let me put it in a different way. How can the radio serve the rural area that hard to be reached?
For example, in our situation now in South Sudan, we have 2 radio stations that can reach the state now, but they cannot reach the whole part of the country. There's iRadio and Radio Maraya. But soon, a national broadcaster like SSBC is going to reach the whole country soon. Those communities radio who are operating in the state are operating in a dialect where that community belongs. But a national radio like iRadio that we are using now cannot broadcast one dialect unless you can make a program. So the challenge is facing radio now. My brother has indicated one. The issue is the power. Some of the radio stations now are closing in the country because of the power. 2, lack of funding, which is facing some of our community radio stations. Because you cannot operate the radio, work with journalists, and you don't pay them by the end of the month. These are the things but for sure we thank our government of South Sudan for giving us independence, because those days we were having only one radio in South Sudan, that is Radio Juba. But now we have more than 50 FM So it is very great achievement within the period of these years that we have 50 FM. What do you think in other years? We are going to have a lot of TV in the state. We are going to have a lot of radio FM in the state. So let us appreciate ourselves and also the contribution to our listeners. Without them, we cannot operate in the radio. So we also appreciate our listeners for that encouraging. They are encouraging our journalists, because if they don't call, our journalists cannot work, because it seems like you are boring in the studio alone. But if they call, they will even give you good ideas to run the radio.
Okay. Alfred, as we're talking about the AI,
Yes.
The theme of this year highlighting the artificial intelligence, how do you understand the AI in the context of radio journalism?
Well, in the context of radio journalism in the Republic of South Sudan specifically, AI, in other terms, it is just like one way of complement. It becomes like an assistant to doing the work easier and faster to catch up with the deadline. Because now, AI, it helps us, like when you write a script, you want to paraphrase it to improve the content to look very clear. When you drop it, it will help you to improve very fast. Instead of giving to someone like an editor, it becomes your personal editor before actually the final editor looks through it. But it is not coming actually to replace
the work of the human.
The work of a human being. Okay? It is just to complement or to make the work of a presenter on a radio very easy. Okay? So mainly it is more of technology. How we came out from the analog world to digital world. And that is the difference that we have at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, John, let me go back to you again. In what way can AI help the radio station improving the content, the production, also reaching on the efficiency?
Yeah, with the mesh of AI now in our world, it has a lot of things to be done in the radio. Like now, if a company bring an advert to iRadio, and that advert is used with AI, will it sound like human? It cannot sound like human. And that advert can even disqualify iRadio, because if someone go and listen on air, and then he check it, and then he found this one is artificial intelligence advert, that person is going to disqualify iRadio. Number two, if you are going to use the story, you run the story edited by AI. AI doesn't know our local name. AI can give you different name. In other advanced countries, there are some people who use AI to do a program like you are doing now. But if you use the AI in the radio, it will give you ancient language.
Different accent that is maybe is not.
It's not from South Sudan. Even people will be surprised.
Understand by the people on the ground.
Who is that? Who is that talking in the studio? Did AI can pick the call in the studio? No, AI cannot pick some call in the studio. So we advise our program managers, our editors in the radio station. We can use AI, but the story that AI give us should be edited to be a human story. And when NGO or any company bring any advert that they have made with AI, we will approach that company or that NGO that please can you allow us to edit this story so that we bring it into human advert, because it is going to disqualify the station. We are professional people and we cannot use AI to make advert for us.
Thank you, John. Let me also talk about the same issue here. Is there any risky or ethically concerned broadcasters should be aware of when they're using AI journalism in journalism?
Definitely. There is really a lot of precautionary measures that need to be taken in place and to be considered whenever you are using an AI. Whenever you, for instance, AI can, for instance, when you have an audio of one of your source, when you throw to AI to transcribe for you, AI will transcribe, but there are words that you will not even understand.
According to pronunciation of
pronunciation and how AI is said is not more human. the flow of wordings, like the content, the text that it will give you, it can be contrary to the voice.
It can be easy to detect.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult. Like now we are talking, and then when you record using AI, later on to transcribe that, the audio we are talking into text, the text will be having mistakes. And what I am trying to say here is, journalists should be very keen whenever it comes to that. You throw the audio, yes, into AI, ensure that you have to re-edit it and ensure that you have the right
to review again
review the content. No, don't just rush because you are on like trying to meet a deadline. So what is important is have AI as your assistant, but then to fasten your work, go and review the content so that you have the rightful information inserted, and also you don't misquote somebody else. Sometimes the quote that you the exact quote, which when it is transcribed, some content within the quote might be contrary to what exactly the audio is saying.
Which may contradict later.
It contradicts,
and that
will
change the meaning completely.
Definitely, and when it changes the meaning, that is also a danger, a challenge to the media house. So in the end, what happens? The media house will be summoned for questioning because of that content, and that content is related to the AI thing. So these are some critical things that journalists and the radio personalities have to keenly look into. And the other thing is, when using AI, you have to think of the next person. Don't entirely, like my colleague mentioned, the audio. Sometimes we are good in twisting the audio. So be keen, because it is easy to detect that this is an audio, AI generated audio. It is not sounding human in any way. But of course, in radio, whenever you do something, sometimes you can just, that comes to ethically, when allowed by the editorial policy of the media house. And I can mention that one of the challenges that also AI versus physically is, when information goes out and it is misunderstood, the radio editorial policy can be compromised. That's where you see even some radio stations trying to do self-censorship. Because anytime you can be confronted, and the confrontation comes from the information, that misleading information that you rush. For instance, you want to be the first person to publish the information, and then when you rush, you do mistakes, and those mistakes lead us to challenges. So AI is there, but use it careful. Be keen in the content you package for the public consumption.
Okay, John, let me go back to you. How do we balance the new technology like AI with the need for the accuracy, trust, and human judgment? How can we balance between all those things?
You see, for us as station managers and program managers, it is very dangerous, and we need to protect our community and our country. As we are celebrating the World Radio Day today, our country is preparing for election. And if we don't take care, if we follow AI, you can even broadcast fake news. AI is going to spread a lot of disinformation and misinformation.
During the election.
Even hate speech will be spread by AI. That need our professional journalists, legitimate media, to protect their own legitimacy. You need to protect your integrity as a media houses. Because if you follow AI, it means that you are going to spread the fake news. For us to use AI, we are not saying we are not going to use AI. We are going to use AI in a different way or another. That cannot appear in our radio station that this story is from AI. Because if your listener already identified, or your viewers can identify this story is inhuman, it is going to disqualify you. So for us, we need to protect ourselves. Let us be committed. Let us do our work. I myself, I started my journalism from analog to digital. I've used a tape recorder. I was a reporter in the county. I used my bicycle, no motorcycle, no public means. I work in a place called Wulu, and I transport the news from Wulu to the state capital, Rumbek. With my bicycle, no motorbike. I use bicycle, I ride my bicycle, drop my story. And that time we don't even have a computer. You use a white paper to write your story, and the editor will go and use another white paper to edit your story. Later on in the evening, we are broadcasting the news, you put all the cassette in your table. You read the news after you finish, you bring the cassette and put it. Even the listener who is at home will hear when you press the cassette. Now these days it's not there. You just click. Even the news can be played by itself in the computer. So these days, even your transmitter, you can monitor it in your phone. You connect. If you are an engineer, you connect everything in your phone. You can even monitor the power of your station. You can monitor the power of your transmitter in the phone. So the world is changing. But if the world is changing, we need to protect our citizens and our country with the use of AI so that it cannot spread misinformation or disinformation.
Alfred, let me come to you by this question. How can the radio using technology while we're still amplifying the community voices, especially like women's, youth, and marginalized group? It's like how can how radio using technology will be still amplifying those voices?
Well, radio can actually continue amplifying the voices of those in the various communities, like the youth, the elders, because the elders have good stories to tell for the new generation to understand things. Because like people could be in technology, forgetting what, like for instance, I can bring the first thing about the challenge of technology. Most times, I'm sorry to divert from radio, but of course, if you see all over, people are on their smartphones. This is technology, right? So physical interaction have lost its meaning. Because everyone, we can be sitting more than 5 of us, that interaction that used to exist before is fading. Because everyone is using the phone, and then you're just on the phone, everything on the internet. So that also is another thing. But there's still hope for the radio, and then despite the technology, to amplify the voices of the people. And that is, I advise each media house or each journalist, and even the community, to allow access to information. Journalists to access information from them so that the community is able to access, the public is able to know. Even the state, the people in the government who are to respond on questions or situations that are occurring in communities, they have to be ready to respond. This is the situation. How do you as a responsible person for this, they have to be able to respond to those questions. The more they physically respond, and it is recorded, brought on the radio, it's better than just generating something that is connected to the person. So let's not just rely on the technology, but let's have the time to go to talk to the people. And sometimes we can use the technology by using the phone. Nowadays, through the radio, you can connect like a phone through a mixture, call a person, and then have a very clear voice of the person. So that is also good, but you need to have earlier appointment of what you need to do. Don't be lazy to reach out to sources and create forces because AI is there for you. No. Reach out to real human beings. And that is professional journalism at the meaning of a radio.
Okay, John, radio often been described as the most trusted medium. And what makes the radio different from other platforms? Like we have a lot of platforms now, but what makes the radio so unique when we talk about a medium or a connector?
Radio now, what makes a radio to be different? Like now in South Sudan, we have TV, and we have radio, and we have social media. These are the platforms we use now in South Sudan. We don't have Telegram and the other thing, but we are using TV, radio, and social media. Now the rate of illiteracy command in our country, many people don't know the use of social media
and even the TV.
Those who are using social media now, they are attracted only by TikTok. That's the only most important they use now in South Sudan. But the other use of social media, they don't know. Even the other countries are getting money now from social media. But for us now in South Sudan, we are not getting money.
We spend more than...
So those of Facebook and TikTok, they are using us freely. and they are getting money out of us.
They're generating money from us instead of
Yeah.
we making money from them.
Instead for us to get money from them, they are generating money from us now. Now, in our current situation,
That's like
I myself, I work in
consumer.
SSBC, and I don't have TV in my home. Should I watch TV? No, because where should I get the power? And should I manage to pay power for the JETCO power? No. With the current economic crisis.
So you turn to radio to listen to get the information.
I turn to radio, I turn to iRadio, to SSBC, because all of us in this country at 8, including those of you who are in iRadio, at 8 all of us tend to tune into SSBC because we will hear degree from them. And then for other social news, we tune into iRadio and Radio Maraya, so that we can hear what is going on in Malakal, in Bibor, in Rumbek, in Awil, in Yambio. We tune into to iRadio at 6 or 7, so that we get those news. Then at 8, we tune, all of us, government official, citizen, business people, we tune into to SSBC, so that we
follow the news.
We follow the news in SSBC.
Okay.
So the easy access now for us now currently in the country is radio.
Okay.
Even if we have a national TV like that, it is very expensive and costly for us to watch TV, because the money to buy a receiver and install in your house, then you buy a screen. That money, my brother, with this current situation, I cannot get. But through my small phone here in the pocket, this one, I will listen to iRadio anywhere, whether I'm sleeping or where, or I'm on my way going home, I can listen to iRadio.
I think this is the same benefit the drivers they get.
Yes.
Most of the cars, they have radio stations.
In Russia,
when you're driving, you can put on the radio. People can follow the programs while they're
in the public means
from a place to another place.
Yes.
So they can also get information even while they're
exactly.
Okay, it's now 4:45 almost. Let's get some callers. We let them join us in this conversation. خلينا بس كمان ناخذ بعض المكالمات اللي احنا بنحتفل باليوم العالمي للراديو او the World Radio Day اللي هو بيحتفل به بكره. الاحتفال حيكون بكره، بس احنا قدمنا الاحتفال عشان برضو ما ندي للناس بعض الافكار. اتصل لنا على رقمنا 09 11 986 986 ورقمنا الثاني 09 22 986 986. معانا هنا في الاستوديو الليله السيد دون وولو، المدير بتاع المحطه بتاع توب اف ام، وهو كمان السكرتير العام بتاع المحررين، الفورم بتاع المحررين، وكمان ما ننسى برضو ألفي بوفرتي، هو الاكزيكتيف دايركتور والمدير بتاع الناشونال بريس كلاب. هم موجودين معانا هنا الليله في الاستوديو عشان ما نتكلم في اليوم العالمي للراديو. خلينا ناخذ بعض المكالمات ونسمع الناس المتابعين لنا. لواي راديو، لواي راديو، اتصل على رقمنا 09 11 986 986 والرقم الثاني 09 22 986 986 وشاركنا برايك في الحديث اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه اليوم عن The World Radio Day. لواي راديو، لواي راديو، تفضل. لواي راديو. لواي راديو. اهلا وسهلا، تفضل.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening. You're welcome.
And good evening to our brother studio.
Yes.
This is Joseph from Munich.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let's say happy Independence
World Radio Day.
World Radio Day. World Radio Day.
International Radio Day. Happy to the audio of iRadio. My brother, when you celebrating that the radio is a friendly to citizens. It's very close, giving you information when you are at home or anywhere you are stand or you are down. You get to that information. Because now when people are in the places people are sitting, there is a using of information, you know, and accurate information is always being used by the people. But when you go to the radio gives you accurate information. Radio is always helping people, even as we are always being helped by radio, because and I use radio in my telephone. I use my telephone, listen on it, and then use also to call. So important of radio is being got by our people right now. But I want to tell you this. Right now, journalists have become problem by the people who are always use information, use voice to be known by social media. They turn down now to be against journalists, because our journalists are always being arrested, are always being tortured. And when you talk about those things, they are being carried out by those people who use radio all along to give information to the people to be recruited, to go for guerrilla. So right now, when we finish the guerrilla, get into the country, get into the independent, we have conflict with information, with the radio. The radios are one who gives voice to the people, to recruit to go to the training camp, to be soldiers, to liberate ourselves. So this information is supposed to be given to the Ministry of Information to be careful on the journalists in the country, not even the journalists themselves, not to be fear, not to be like the politicians, to be out of the country, exiled like politicians. So some journalists now not using that information to give information to have the problem.
Okay.
You know, all these things I just get them. All this information are available within the country.
Okay.
And government with people. And the information is given to the people. I didn't see a problem there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get another caller. Hello, I radio. Hello, I radio. Hello, I radio. اتصل لنا رقمنا 09 11 986 986 ورقمنا الثاني 09 22 986 986. الو اي راديو. الو اي راديو.
عليكم السلام.
اتفضل. مساء النور، اتفضل.
كيفكم كويسين؟
الحمد لله، اتفضل.
استاذ ربيع.
مرحبا بك.
نعم. تحية لكم، تحية لكل المستمعين، و تحية برضو، تحية خاصة للناس اللي فكروا إنه يستنى حاجة اسمه راديو. بجد يوم بتاع بكرة ده يوم كبير بالنسبة لنا هنا كمستمعين بتاع راديو. أنا قاعد نقول يعني بلا راديو يعني إنسان حياته بيكون ناجح. لأنه راديو، أنا استخدمت راديو إنه زي أنت في بيت مع إيالك. لو أنت قاعد في بيت ما عندك زول، لكن في الراديو جنبك معناته انت بكون اطمئن انه انت قاعد تستفيد، انت ذاته قاعد تتواصل مع العالم كله. يلا المشكله عندنا في جنوب السودان عدد بداية الرواتب المحليه ذاته ما كثير، حتى انترناشونال راديو ذاته ما قاعد يوصلنا هنا بالطريقه اللي هناك. يعني انت بتفتشوا في التيش لحد ما انت تلقاه وتستفيد، لكن على ده كله نفس معلومات في الراديو كله، سواء كان محلي سواء كان انترناشونالي. يعني انت بتلقى انه الراديو بيتكلم عن حاجه واحد، يعني بيتكلم عن الثقافه، بيتكلم عن الحياه، بيتكلم عن الحياه، بيتكلم عن الصحه، بيتكلم اي حاجه في الدنيا ده الراديو ما قاعد يتكسر فوق. يعني الراديو ده التواصل بتاعت المجتمع والحكومه وباقي العالم كله. شفت كيف؟ فرق بين الراديو مع الجريدة ده يمكن حاجة بسيطة. الجريدة ما عنده صوت، لكن الراديو عنده صوت على الهواء مباشرة. انت بتلقى انه الزول هناك في الاستديو ده هو قاعد يتواصل مع ناس البرا هنا. فهنا بتمنى انه اي راديو المناطق الخارجية عندنا في واو هنا في هناك بتاعتكم لو في طريقة انه تزيدوا كده حبة شوية كده يعني في المستقبل يعني انا موجود انه بكره ولا بعد بكره في المستقبل خلي اي راديو ده خليه يتوصل يكون زي مرايه راديو مرايه، خليه يكون زي البي بي سي، خليه يكون زي تمازج، خليه يكون زي بقى الرواد الثانيين هنا ما قاعدين نسمعوه. يلا اللغات اللي عندنا ذات برضه هنا دايرين يكون اللغات. لأن اللغة لازم نستخدمين في الرواد بتاعنا في جنوب السودان هي اللغة الإنجليزية واللغة العربية. لكن هنا دايرين كده قبائل بتاع جنوب السودان ال 64 ده كده الإدارة بتاع الرواد في السودان يخصص البرنامج خلي اللغات ده كده يكلموا كله يوم كان ده أخبار ناس القادرين للغة بتاعهم كلمة يجي بعد الساعة هم يقرأوا أخبار عشان الناس يستفيدوا منها، والناس أخبار اللي بيقروا باللغة بتاعهم نفس أخبار اللي برضه يقروا بالإنجليزي ولا بالعربي. فنتمنى لكم إنه يوم بتاع بكرة يكون يوم سعيد، وهنا ما دايرين نرجع لورا. حتى الناس المذيعين بتاعتنا والإعلاميين بتاعتنا اللي حياتهم عشان كان في حرب مرض بتاع ربنا، هنا بنقول ربنا يغفر لهم، ده الطريقة بتاعي. لكن برضو الناس القاعدين برضو كمان ربنا يهينكم ويديكم قوة ويفتح عقولكم ويديكم النعمة في قلوبكم إنه حاجة دي ما بيقولوش، لكن انتوا قاعدين تغيروا مجتمع بتاعتنا برا. راديو قاعد يغير مجتمع بشكل فعال. شكرا.
ثانك يو، شكرا لك. خلينا ناخذ ثاني مكالمة، باقي لنا أقل من 8 minutes. الهواي راديو على نهاية الفقرة الأولى من برنامجنا. الهواي راديو. الهواي راديو. الليلة بنتكلم عن انه جنوب السودان بكره حينضم لباقي دول العالم للاحتفال باليوم العالمي للراديو او وورلد راديو داي. الهواي راديو. اتصل على رقمنا 09 11 986 986
هاي راديو
او راديو. تفضل تفضل. لو حاول الاتصال مرة ثانية وشارك معنا في برنامجنا في برنامج الليلة عن اليوم العالمي للراديو. معنا هنا ضيوفنا في الاستوديو السيد جون وولو هو ستيشن مانجر بتاع توب اف ام، وكمان الفريد بوفرتي هو الاكزيكتيف دايركتور بتاع ناشونال بريس كلاب. الو راديو. الو اتفضل. الو يس اتفضل.
I just want to give an appreciation to iRadio.
Okay.
For bringing us Radio Day. As we talk the importance of the radio. The radio is more than anything based on the digital kind of world. Like you mentioned earlier that the radio helps the people who are in the rural areas and at the grassroots. And the radio is cheaper. The radio is not expensive, like TV where you subscribe, or you buy cheap, where the people at the grassroots cannot afford. But one of the important of the radio is that the radio plays like us. If I don't listen to the radio, I feel like I'm not in the world. I took it as a commitment that this is what I put in my life. Though I'm not a journalist, but I've already put it as my priority. Radio makes me to become eloquent, linguistic, and professional, and ethical, and responsible in my life. Of course, radio plays a very big role in the community. Like you mentioned, the 50 FMs. By then, it used to be regulated by the government when we were still one. And where it was always focused, before the program was only brought by the government, not by the community. Like when there is any discussion, it becomes as a community kind of discussion. It was not, even this IA, it wasn't there. But I appreciate it. Let us continue supporting the management of the radio and the FM countrywide, because I know the challenges are there. But it's our responsibility, our collective responsibility as communities, and you, the management of the radio, that we keep our radio running so that our communities are educated through a lot of programs like you mentioned by then when you were introducing it. I was following you from the beginning up to now.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm one of the listeners who have actually come up with a lot of strategies. Into it, I'm the chairman for the listeners in Emmanuel.
One day one day we shall visit you there.
Yeah. My name is John K.
Okay, Johan. Inshallah, we shall visit you one day there.
I appreciate your program. So let me give chance to others also to contribute, because tomorrow is our day. I won a lot of awards from radio.
Okay. Shukran, John.
Journalists,
Okay.
especially, yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get the last caller. Hello, I did you. Hello, I did you. I think with that we're almost ending up our first hour. خلينا بس ناخذ last word from two of our gentlemen here in the studio. برضه يورونا كلمة أخيرة. Last word كده نسمع من John Wool. Let's hear from John Wool and also from Alfred.
All right, thank you so much. My last word is to our people of South Sudan. Let us not listen to what has been spread on social media. Let us focus on radio. In radio, you will get accurate information from legitimate media houses. And to my brother who said that when we were still in Sudan, the radio are being regulated by government. Up to now, we are being regulated by our government of South Sudan, our own government. And for government to regulate the media is not that a big deal, and it is not bad thing. It will show that your identity and your recognition in the country, so that you are being recognized by your government. So we advise our listeners not to mix what they take on social media with what they would. And this is a big issue now in South Sudan. You take something from social media and say this one is said by the media. That is social media. Those people are called citizen journalists. Anything on the street, they can get it. And they can just put it there. But for us as a legitimate media houses regulated by the government, we can verify, analysis, and then we disseminate the information. So we are not rushed to disseminate the information. And that's why many people listen to iRadio, because when you listen to iRadio and then you go on the ground, you found it, that one is exactly what happened. When you listen to SSBC and then you go on the ground, you will get that one is exactly the right information. We invited everyone to come and celebrate it to us tomorrow at Seniors Hub in Tongping. That's where we are going to celebrate it. Our government official.
What time?
Is from 9 to 2 or 3. That's when we are going to start our celebration. And that celebration will be big. Government official will be there, including the Minister of Information in the Republic of South Sudan.
Will be part of the celebration.
Will be part of the celebration. And for them as government, they are coming to tell us what did they feel about radio. Is it helping them or not? And we are coming to talk to them. What are our achievements as we do as journalists in South Sudan? And what do we need from the government? We need protection.
Okay. Let me listen from also.
Yeah.
Alfred.
Yeah, thank you so much. My message to everyone is, both journalists and the public, is whenever you're giving information for public consumption, we should reduce personal, emotional, we need to have a personal control, emotional control. Because sometimes when you are stressed with a situation, don't transfer it to the message you're sharing with the people. Because remember, you're not talking to one person, you're talking to many people. So you need to think of very credible information that support or helps everyone within the country, and a very good one. So I believe there are diverse aspects that you can access from it, whether health issues, even lawyers have their wordings, and legal issues are there, criminal-related issues, and incidents that occur.
Okay.
So we have to be very diverse and very careful.
Thank you. With that, we come to the end of the first edition.